Super easy, right?
Yeah, exactly. I was trying to do it on my
Instagram.
computer, it wouldn't come up, but I'm here.
You can add this to your resume. You now know how to do an Instagram live, right?
Yeah, not too good at it though. It took me a minute.
It's all right. Hey,
Hey, I'm down 3 after 1, but we'll fight back.
28 years of coaching, and you learned how to do an Instagram live, baby.
Man, I'll tell you, I've learned a lot of stuff here during these times.
Absolutely. Strange stuff going on. So, okay, everybody out there, Easton Baseball Nation, we've got Mike Kennedy, head coach, Elon University, with us today. Been coaching at Elon for 28 years, been the head coach there for 24 of them. The tradition of winning that he's created in this program is unbelievable. Most winningest coach in the history of Elon Baseball, and the program has been running since, I think, 1900, maybe 1902.
Long time.
Long time, man, long time. What makes the Elon baseball program so special?
Man, a lot of things, man. First and foremost, I would say the people. We're blessed to be around some really good people on this campus. Our coaching staff, I think, is second to none. The guys that work for me do an unbelievable job supporting our program and the mission of our university. But man, this place is awesome. I don't know if you've ever been on campus. It's a beautiful place. The campus is gorgeous. The community here is second to none. Care about the people, make an effort to go out of their way to show that. And that's part of what we try to do as well. And then, you had an unbelievable campus to a great degree. Our school is tremendous. And then some really good baseball, man. We've been very fortunate to play great baseball. We're in a state, as you well know, North Carolina, that has a ton of really good baseball. And you don't have to go very far to play good people. So we're very blessed.
So I was just upstairs. There's no one at the office, right? It's me and the president. And he's like, hey, what are you doing right now? And I'm like, well, I'm going to go downstairs and do an interview with Elon Baseball. And the guy's like, no way. He says, do you know our CFO, Kyle, went to Elon? So hey, small world. We've got an Elon alum right here.
There you go. I need to get with Kyle. Let's get his number. Shoot me that after we get off.
I'll send him your way.
Awesome. Hey, we're glad to be a part of Easton. That's for sure, man. We're excited about it, and knowing Kyle's in there makes it even sweeter. So that's awesome.
There you go. So okay, so I think this is interesting to note that you've been a part of championship play at every level that Elon has competed at. Talk a little bit about that. That's awesome.
Yeah, it's when you think about and look back at your time and where you've gone in the sport of baseball, what I've done, man, I never would have guessed that where I played my college baseball, I would never have left. So, I went and played about 3 years in minor league ball, but I played here under Rick Jones, who really set the table for the success of Elon baseball long before I got here, but was able to play for him and enjoy the man, we didn't lose. We won a ton of ball games, and we're very fortunate to go to an NAIA World Series as a player. Not long into, after coaching with Billy Best, who now scouts with the Braves, one of the best in the business. Not long after coaching with him when he left to go to NC State, I got the job as the head coach. We went to a Division II NCAA South Central Regional. We're a game away from a Division II World Series, and so we had some success right out of the gate, and then made the switch to Division I at a time, man. We thought it was going to be very difficult. You're at not even a mid-major at that time. We were less than that. And just trying to build a Division I resume that would get us competitive. And boy, we jumped right in 2002, made a regional. And then I think we've been in 5 or 6 since, and it's been a pretty good run for us.
Yeah, I mean, it's an amazing run. And as a player, you were with the Phoenix, and I think you were a 2-time All-American honorable mention as a catcher. Just another, right? You're a catcher, right?
Yeah, that's right.
Another head coach as a catcher. I'm always mind blown how many catchers turn into head coaches. Why do you think that is?
Well, the history of the game, shows you there's a ton of guys who have caught and that make good managers, make good coaches, and I think it doesn't take a rocket scientist to figure it out. I mean, you're just everything's in front of you on the baseball field, man. You're the one guy that's in foul territory, and you're seeing everything out in front of you, and you have a pretty good idea of how to direct things. And you're in charge of managing a pitching staff, moving guys around, just so much. But you got to be locked in, every time you step on the field and handling the emotion of a pitcher and calling a game, and then what's going on, with each ball put in play. So if you just pay attention, it's hard not to have a good idea about the game. So
yeah, I get it. The field commander. So like
Exactly.
back to some of your hardware. So you did win. I got the stats right here. 6 Southern Conference championships, and then in 2019, you guys won your first Colonial championship, and you got the Coach of the Year for the CAA. So that had to be pretty. That had to
Yeah.
pump you up a little bit.
Yeah, that was special. It was a long time coming. We had a little break in there between 13 and 19. That was a little too long for us. But, we had this 19 club, man, was pretty special. Came up a little short, lost a nail biter to UNC Wilmington, but certainly a great club. We had some really good arms on that club, Kyle Bronovich, George Kirby, and then some offensive players that did some really good things for us. Man, it was a special club, but on that mound, we were pretty special. Kirby
Yeah.
was a first
Did you
round
have a
pick.
first round draft pick in
Yeah,
that
we
class?
did. George Kirby. He actually just walked in behind me, so if he comes back in, I'll give him a quick shout out. But yeah, he was pretty special for us, along with several others. And it was great to get back on top of the league and build from there. So hopefully we can keep doing that.
Dude, that's awesome. I mean, the tradition that you guys have built and that's existed before you were even there at Elon. I mean, the number of guys that are going pro out of your program is a tip of the cap to you and the staff for development. But I think, in your 28 years there, you've got close to 50 or more that have gone, pro out of the
Yeah.
program.
Yeah, we've been fortunate, man. We've we work hard at it, and I think it takes that. But you also got to have kids that come in and put in the same type of work. But you got to have talent. We all know that. You're only as good as the talent you bring in. If you're able to get good players in here, then you got a chance to do some good things if they'll listen to you and develop. But we're out of mid-major, man, and we develop. That's kind of what we sell when we recruit kids. Is we don't roll the ball out and say, hey, go get them, and if you don't, we'll bring somebody else in. It's like, hey, let's go to work. Let's get you better. And over the course of your time here, man, we're going to all have a great experience together. And during that time, man, if you play well and things work out, you're probably going to have a chance to go to the next level.
So like when you're looking for guys, like what do you look for in a player? What's the makeup that you want for an Elon baseball player?
Well, I think all the guys who have ever played for me will tell you you got to have a little bit of that. I'm kind of old school, and not that I'm hard on them, but I hold them accountable, and I love them, but I also push them to be better. Man, I want them to be the best version of themselves as they can be. So I'd say toughness has something to do with that. You got to be a great teammate. These are all cliches, but man, I'm a big college baseball guy. I was fortunate enough to play minor league baseball, and I love my college experience more than the minor league experience. It was you were all in it together. You were playing for the same goal. I kind of take that to what I try to do with our guys and with our teams that we put together here at Elon. So some toughness, man. Being a great team player, then you got to have ability and you got to be coachable. You got to be willing to want to get better and put the time in and have some aptitude to be able to make some adjustments. But those are some things that we look for, obviously.
I had an old school coach, Jack Smithern at UC Riverside, who was the same. That same mentality, man. Yeah.
I mean, it's tough love sometimes, but it's love, and our guys know that. That are in our program, they know that, and at the end of the day, man, I'm in touch with them regularly, and I don't think they'd have it any other way. And I've had to adjust. Man, the times have changed from when I started back in '97. That's a long time ago, and to now it's a little different. The kids are a little different, and but we have to learn to adjust, and we've done that. But man, it's a good place to be.
It's a great point that you just brought up with the way that things have changed in the past 20, 30 years, even the last decade. I mean, here we are. I'm in California. You're in North Carolina, and we're doing an interview live on Instagram. Like, what is that? So
yeah, 30 minutes ago, I had a Zoom call with all our freshmen. So, and they're all over the eastern part of North Carolina, Virginia, up in New Jersey, New York, all over. So, yeah, it's crazy.
It's evolve or be left behind. So, I mean,
right, that's right.
That you just talked about it, but like you're staying connected with your team. You're keeping that like a family mindset together while they're away. What are the guys doing right now? What are they doing to stay ready for when they get back?
Yeah, you know what? It's interesting because, a lot of our kids are from the Northeast. And as you well know, some of those areas have been hit pretty hard and they were locked down a lot longer than some others. So, they're sending videos of them, lifting bags of dirt, lifting cement blocks and doing all they can to kind of stay active and stay strong. But we had a kid hitting in his backyard and the ball went through the cage. He had one little screen set up and went through the cage and hit his neighbor's pool, broke his pool, all kind of crazy stuff going on. But they're doing everything they can, just to stay ready. So when that time comes, they'll be ready to go. I think that the greatest thing about it, though, is that these guys are finding ways to be creative, man, and that's just going to make you better down the road.
Give like a kid sitting at home, a 10-year-old, an 11-year-old, 12-year-old, give
Sure.
them a bit of advice, some tips on what they should be doing to stay ready.
Yeah, move, man. I just tell our guys, move. Don't sit around. Don't be stable. Get up, move, get outside as best you can in places you can, but find ways to get things done. If I'm a 10-year-old boy, I can take a ball, like when I was 5 or 6 and throw it off the side of the house and work my hands and do some different things. Um, Pick up a rock, hit it. Things as simple as that. That can train some hand-eye stuff. But just move, get outside, get a bat and ball in your hand. Bounce it around, do whatever. But there are a lot of things you can be doing on your own, but find ways to be creative to make yourself better. I think that's the biggest thing that we're learning is that, hey, these guys can find stuff to do. I've come by our cage several times, and there's guys in there, they've made a makeshift weight room in there, and they're out there working, they're getting after it. And I told them, I said, you guys are working harder than you do when we're here. And they're like, yeah, coach, that's because we get to do what we want. So, they're not on a program, and man, they're getting after it and bodies are changing. I'm like, man, we got to put this in when we get back to school. But, a lot of great things you could be doing. But the biggest thing is move, get the ball, get the glove, put it in your hands, bounce it around, move it around and catch it and throw it and do whatever you can, the best way you can.
The guys it sounds like they're motivated and they're ready to get back on the field whenever they can.
Yeah, I think the fall will be special if we're able to get back and get out, man. I think everybody will have a greater appreciation for those what we call the grind. I don't really say it's a grind. I think if you love it, it's not a grind, but a lot of people use that word. But I think it'll be a lot different moving forward.
Yeah, it takes a lot of work. I mean, while we're talking about that, tell the kids watching, like, it's not easy to be a student athlete, right? Like, you got to get good grades, and it takes a lot of work. Tell them like a day in the life of one of your guys.
Yeah, it's a commitment, and that's kind of what we tell every kid that comes in here. Be ready for the commitment, because if you're not, it won't work out, or you won't get the experience that you hope to get out of it. So, typically you got to get up and go to class. You got to put your time in there. Academic advising, you got to go and meet with that part of our operation where you're making sure you're getting your work done, you're studying, you're putting your time in. You got to, if you're in season and fall practice, you're going to have a 3-hour practice. You got to grab a bite to eat, then you got to go to study hall. You got to get in the weight room. I mean, it's a full go. We're limited to what we can do by NCAA rules, and we follow those like everybody else. But it is a huge commitment. It's very structured, and it takes a special person to be able to handle that and do it well. But our guys are great at it, and so are people across the country. But I wouldn't have it any other way, and I don't think our guys would.
Commitment, what an important word. So, and then you were talking just quickly about so I just saw that they pushed back the dead period to July 31, right? So you got another almost 2 full months where you can do nothing. So, like, how does that affect you guys?
Hey, we're doing something now. If we're doing nothing, we might be
that's right.
treated
You're
a little
not.
differently.
Yeah, that's right.
So, hey, be careful. We're all doing something. But
yes.
You know what? There's ways to do stuff. I was meeting with my sports supervisor today, and we're watching video. I've watched more video than I think I ever have, but I've been able to do that. And you find ways to critique certain things, see different players. It's just there are a lot of ways to do things differently, and you got to find a way to do them. But you can still be efficient. Yeah, does it get old? Yeah, Zoom calls kind of get old, but certainly I listened to a podcast the other day with Leo Mazzoni in it, and he was talking pitching and talking spin rates. That new model today as compared to the verbiage they used back in his day, and he seemed to think and made the comment that it's the same thing, just different language, and I kind of tend to agree with that, being kind of an old school guy. But we've had to grow and evolve, and like you said, you can't sit still. But those are the things I've seen on Zoom calls and podcasts, and watching those over and over. And you always learn something, man. I've been doing this for 24 years as a head coach, 8, I think, overall in my coaching career. And man, I'm still picking up things today, talking with you and talking on these Zoom calls and listening. And so a lot of ways to get better. And we're constantly trying to do that.
Good stuff. All right, let's touch on real quick. So I know a bunch of coaches got together and threw out an idea for, a new D1 type of a season. What's your thought on that?
Sure. Yeah, it makes a lot of sense. I mean, I think, Randy Mazie started that several years ago, talking about maybe changing the season and moving it. And I think it didn't gain much traction, but certainly now that it's a little bit of a different model, it makes perfect sense. I think the biggest part for us and for me would be, yeah, it doesn't overlap with basketball. You get basketball out of the way, and I don't mean that negatively. Hey, we all love basketball, but we're trying to compete with basketball. And it's 38 degrees outside, and it's just not conducive to a lot of fanfare and a lot of excitement. So if you can get through that part of it and put yourself in a better position weather-wise, and then the fans come out, there's no secret that in April and May, man, our park is packed compared to what we see in February. So it makes perfect sense. You know, the health of arms is another topic that some people talk about, and certainly being able to get the guys ready and I think take better care of those guys, give them so-called a spring training, and allow them to get ready. I think it's a no-brainer, and I think it's great for our sport, and it's exciting to know that that's being talked about, and the right people are pushing it. So
evolution, you know, you can't really stop it. So it'll be interesting to see what happens. I want to, at the end here, I want you to talk about Latham Park and your facilities, because you've got a special place out there. Tell everyone watching about the place.
We do, man. We're very fortunate. You know, it's on campus. It's right in the middle of the campus. It's a beautiful setting. You know, we're trying, like everybody, we're trying to continually make it better and work on it. We've got some plans in place to build an indoor facility. We've had turf for about 10 years now. We'll replace that infield turf and do some work on that. But it's a beautiful place. You know, our ballpark is centered right in the middle of campus. We've got a pond right behind the left field wall. But it's a great little ballpark, man. It's a great setting. It's a great place to play. Beautiful little park, man. It's not big. You know, we don't have 4,000 seats, but we don't need that. It seats about 600. We've got banks on both sides where it creates a little bit of a family atmosphere. You can come sit up on the hill, throw your blanket out, and really enjoy some great baseball. So we're very fortunate to have it, and to have it right in the middle of campus is even more special.
That's good stuff right there. Everyone should get on your website, check it out. I was on there. It's very impressive. Great school, great facilities.
Yeah, thank you.
Take us out here. Take us out here with a final thought for everybody out there watching.
Yeah, man, Elons is a great place, man. We're just blessed to be able to be in this position to talk with Easton, man. It's a new marriage, so to speak, with us and you guys, and we're excited about it. But we've got great baseball. We've been very successful. We've had great players come through here, and better than that, more than that, we have great kids that come through this program. If you're a college baseball fan, get involved, go out and watch kids play. But not only that, talk to them, meet those kids. They're all good kids, and they deserve that. And last thing, I'll throw a shout out. My hat, I got my first cancer hat on. It's a pediatric brain cancer fundraiser and organization, man, that does some great things for children that suffer greatly. That we really need to help. So I'm going to throw that shout out to Verse Cancer. So
good stuff, Coach Kennedy. Hey, man, the tradition of baseball at Elon's awesome. We appreciate you coming on with us today. Hope you guys stay ready.
Yeah, outstanding, man. Thanks so much for having me, man. This is awesome, and we're pumped to be on this.
We'll keep it rolling, baby. Have a good one.
All right, buddy. Thank you, my man.
See you, man.
Peace out.